Hello there. Thank you for taking some time out of your history class today to learn a little bit about Case Day. Now I'm sure many of you are wondering, what is Case Day? Case Day is one day each year, specifically this year, March 19th, when the senior government students engage in an oral argument regarding a case being argued at the Supreme Court level near the same time. Well, this year we're lucky enough to have two cases, Jackson v. Hobbs and Miller v. Alabama. Two very different cases with one huge similarity, the Eighth Amendment, or more specifically, cruel and unusual punishment. Now, what is considered cruel and unusual in today's world? Are Jackson and Miller, two very different boys of 14 years old, being subjected to cruel and unusual punishment, or is the state justified in their sentencing? Just a few things to think about. Let's take a look. Contrell Jackson was convicted of homicide after his cousin and a friend wandered into a movie store and ended up shooting the clerk. They all fled the scene and were later all convicted to life without parole. Now, while in Jackson's case he was simply an accomplice to the murder, Evan Miller was actually the murderer. When he wandered over to his neighbor Cole Cannon's house one night, they got in a small argument. It ended with Evan beating Cole with a bat and setting his trailer on fire. Cole died later that night of smoke inhalation. If the Supreme Court is to deem these cases cruel and unusual, they will effectively take away the power of the states to hand out sentences like this, which would effectively limit state power. And if we were to take away those states' rights, that would sure make Ron Paul an unhappy camper.
Imagine when you were a freshman. Would you have wanted to be held accountable for the actions that you committed back then?
On the other hand, these boys killed someone. Is it the state's civic duty to put these boys away for the rest of their lives? Can they take the chance that Miller or Jackson will really change?
So, our question to you is this. Is it cruel and unusual punishment to sentence a minor to life in prison? We're minors. What if we did something so bad that it essentially ended our life?
What is cruel and unusual punishment today? In the Constitution it says, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. This last part's what we're dealing with in our oral arguments on Case Day.
Cruel and unusual is not specifically defined because the Founding Fathers knew that the definition of cruel and unusual would change as society progressed, so they purposefully left it very vague.
Would you feel it constitutional for somebody to come up to you as a 14-year-old freshman and tell you that you were going to spend the rest of your life behind bars?
Or is this unconstitutional, and does someone that young at least have a chance to redeem themselves?
But is it fair to let these boys out of prison and run the risk that they may harm other law-abiding citizens? The state has its citizens' best interest in mind, so is it not their right to put away murderers as they see fit?
I'm Mike Meyer, and I'm here to interview fellow Saxon students to find out what they think of the Eighth Amendment and cruel and unusual punishment. Excuse me, sir. Sir. Does a 14-year-old convicted of murder deserve to spend the rest of their life in prison?
Maybe.
A 14...
It depends.
It depends on the circumstances, of course.
He killed someone.
Yeah. That's messed up.
That's bad.
That's bad. It's pretty bad.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna be diplomatic in this situation.
Yeah.
We have one no and one yes. Does sentencing a 14-year-old convicted of murder encompass cruel and unusual punishment?
Yes, because everyone deserves a second chance.
I do think that it's not a good idea to do that because the brain is still developing at that point, and I know that some 14-year-olds' parents are abusive or drug addicts and other things, so that could influence the child. So it's not really his fault that he was born into this.
So Miles, you're a freshman here at Langley High School, and you were just told that you were going to spend the rest of your life in jail. How do you feel about this?
Oh my God, it's the rest of my life. I'm too young. There's too much out. What? I won't see my friends, my family.
Do Jackson and Miller deserve another chance? After all, these weren't exactly petty crimes they committed. However, do they deserve a chance at parole, a chance at redemption? Should Jackson and Miller do their time? Or is this a violation of their Eighth Amendment rights? Come join us on March 19th at Case Day and see what your Langley students have to say.